Hey, welcome to Maximum Bat Speed. I want to do a video here to help you parents and you coaches out there that work with children or even work with high school or college teams, to just help you as far as giving you a short tutorial here on trying to instruct you on some simple things that I do when I'm working with students. And I'm hoping that this video right here will just give you just some quick reference points that you can look at and reference to when you're not quite sure what to do. I know many years ago I was asking a lot of questions, and I was fortunate enough to get a lot of great guidance from a lot of great coaches, and that's one of the reasons I have this YouTube channel, to try to help people to get people like their children or their players or whoever to succeed and play this game at a much higher level and enjoy it at a much higher level. So let's get started. Now, the first thing that I would do if I was working with a child or working with a player, what I would recommend and suggest is this. Now, this is not direct opposite side batter's box view, but what I would recommend is this. If you look at any player at the higher levels, they pretty much all have their feet outside of their shoulders. So you can see right here, again, this is not direct opposite side batter's box view, but it's very obvious that this player has her feet outside of her shoulders. And another thing you want to make sure that's going on is this. You want to make sure that there's kind of symmetry as far as their setup. So again, you can see here that these circles underneath her feet, they're pretty symmetrical, and she's very balanced. And again, keep in mind, this is not direct opposite side batter's box view, but if it was, you would see a lot of balance and a lot of symmetry. That's what I would do, and I would be checking for that. I would also be checking that you have an athletic lower body, and you want to have more of an upright upper body, so that your body will be able to rotate through the ball as you get to heel plant. You want to have your arms very relaxed, and I would recommend starting off with kind of a vertical bat. This is very important so that you can get your sequence going correctly. Another thing is, try to keep the gap between your hands and your back elbow as you're getting into your gather pretty consistent all the way into your gather. Keep instep pressure, keep pressure inside the inner leg, inner thigh, so that your back knee will not creep over your back foot, so your hands will not creep over your back foot, therefore giving you overload where your hands will drop behind your back feet and back foot, and your knee will not creep over your back foot or beyond it. Okay, so keep that instep pressure. Be nice and relaxed. Keep your eyes focused on the pitcher, and that's what I would do at the setup. And just again, get very relaxed with the upper body, and your tension, if anything, should be with the lower body. Now, the next thing that I would recommend for you, if I was working with you or giving you suggestions, is as you get into the gather, just make sure that you maintain the angles of your back leg into the gather. Many times I see so much movement going on with the back leg. Most elite players have very minimal back leg movement going on. Now, a lot of players, whether it be MLB or NPF or softball, whatever, you name it, when they get into their swings, they might have a lot of movement going on with the front leg, but with the back leg will be almost as though they have a cast on. Watch what's going on here. She's getting into her apex of her gather about right here, and you can see that her back leg has not moved very much. Another thing that you will notice with elite players is as they get into the apex of the gather, there will be a gap between the knee and the ankle going down. And again, this is not direct opposite side batter's box view, but you want to make sure there's a gap. In other words, you do not want to see your knee over your back foot. That creates a lot of problems. At the apex of the gather, what I would recommend and suggest for you, oops, let me take this last one off right here, my apologies. What I would recommend for you is make sure that your hands never get beyond your back foot. You can see here, this young lady here does a beautiful job of keeping her hands at the apex of her gather right in line with her back foot. You do not want to get into overload where your hands get beyond your back foot. That starts to create too many frames to your swings. Now, when I do online video analysis and I talk about this in my Build Your Swing Plan, if you guys out there listening to this video, if you want a lot more detail and you want to get a lot of in-betweens of what I'm saying, you can go to my website. You can order my video. My online video analysis will be I will address your child, your player's specific swing flaws and give them drills. So if you need more information, go ahead and contact me. But as far as this video right here, should be a great benefit to many of you out there that really don't know what to do or how to get your swing started. Now from here, what I would highly recommend is this, and what you see with elite players is this. You can see right here where her hands are. They're pretty much going to just stay right there. And again, if you watch elite players, what they do, again, they keep the hands right there pretty much over the back foot. And what they do is they pretty much just walk away from the hands as they get into their toe touch. And this is, again, what this young lady's doing right here. She's doing a beautiful job as she gets into her toe touch right here. You can see that her hands are pretty much remained in the box, and her hands are still beyond right there by her back foot. This is what I would recommend for you if you're working with someone. Do not let their hands, in other words, creep up too much, because if they do that, they're going to not have enough resistance in their swing, and you definitely don't want their hands to be behind their back foot, because that gets into overload. The middle box is where you want them to be, so be aware of that. Now from there, you want to continue to apply pullback. You want to apply pullback into the toe touch. You want to apply pullback even into the heel plant, and even as you're getting into the connection stage of the swing. This is going to create a beautiful hand path. Watch how the bat works around the corner of her deltoid. This is all cause and effect by the lower body rotating as the upper body is pulling back. Again, as the lower body rotates, the upper body continues to pull back. This is what I teach. This is my philosophy, and it creates a great hand path. It creates a lot of power. Now, as you get into your toe touch and the heel plant, the thing to pay attention to is this. Just like from the backside, you want to make sure that you keep the knee inside of the ankle as you get into your toe touch and as you get into your heel plant. So when you get into this particular stage of the swing, there's going to be a gap between the knee and the ankle, just as there was when you get into the gather. If you do not do this, it's going to create a lot of extra frames to your swing. Your head will have the tendency of sliding forward, therefore depriving you of the opportunity to hit at higher levels. And again, my swing plan video and my analysis that I do with students, I talk about this in great detail to help students to succeed at a higher level. Now again, they walk away from the hands, and watch what's going on right here, and this is crucial. Here she is at toe touch, and watch the angle of the bat, okay? And this is something that a lot of coaches don't really bring up. Now right here, the bat is pointing pretty much to the catcher, and she's at toe touch. Watch what happens as she gets into heel plant. The bat angle will not change very much at all. So right now she's getting that heel plant, and you can see here that the bat is still pointing pretty much exactly to the catcher, and the hands will stay back where that heel plant, the hands are still over the back foot. And what you see at lower levels, the hands tend to creep up way too much, or if players are getting into overload, the hands will stay way back here, therefore again adding too many extra frames to the swing, which you do not want if you want to play at higher levels. Now once you master that and you get that resistance correct and the proper lower body rotation, the bat will work around the corner of the deltoid, therefore giving you a beautiful hand path. And immediately what you want to do with your student, your player, your child, whoever you're working with, have them have the elbow work immediately up to the height of the mouth with the barrel below the hands. Many times what I see at lower levels is that you never see the bat this low below the hands, but at the MLB, at the highest level of softball, the highest level of baseball, you will see the barrel below the hands quite considerably. You can see right here where this player right here, where her hands are right here, and you can see how much lower the barrel is below her hands. And again, I always talk about this in my videos. Watch where her mouth is right there. Her elbow, lead elbow right there is pretty much at the height of her mouth. And again, the elbow works up to the height of the mouth. You keep the barrel below the hands, and from there you keep it below the hands for as long as possible as your arms extend. So watch what's going on right here. Now her arms are extending. Okay, both her arms are fully extended right here, and this is something that, again, I just do not see enough of, where her arms are fully extended, but yet the barrel is still below the hands. Now if I go one more frame here, watch what's going on here. The barrel still below the hands, and her arms are fully extended. One more frame, the barrel still below the hands. Again, watch what's going on right here, and this is so important to understand. This is what you see at the highest levels, but many coaches just do not teach this. This is not only going to allow you to hit with tremendous whip and power through the ball, it's going to allow you to stay in the strike zone much longer. therefore giving you the opportunity to not to leave the zone early or prematurely, giving you opportunities to hit more pitches. Again, barrel below the hands as the elbow works up to the height of the mouth, hit to and through the ball, and this is going to allow you to have a lot more success. Now this is just again a short tutorial on what I would suggest for you as either as a parent, as a coach, or someone working with someone. I gave you some very strong fundamentals and some basics to get your player, your child, whoever you're working with on the right track. If you ever have any questions, again, I can be contacted on my email, or again, if you want to just get a full detail, the 2 hours and 45 minutes of explanation, order my video. Or if you want your child, whoever you're working with, to get an online video analysis, I will break down their swing piece by piece and tell them what they're doing wrong, what they're doing correctly, and I will give them drills to make sure that they will improve upon their mechanics. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, give me a like. Please share it with other people so that they too can start to learn how to apply a high-level elite swing. Especially the younger, the better. Therefore, as they get older, they can possibly play in college and maybe even play, if you're a young man, play in the MLB. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate your viewership. Have a great day.